depending on the size of the organization, the texture of governance keeps on changing. Because when the company is small and startup, there are few governance related thoughts and I would say regulations are followed. But as they grow, if the company becomes larger, becomes maybe public limited company or even uh, something related to private limited company, here they call it as an incorporated company, there are certain restrictions that what directors should be doing and should not be doing. And that governance part is technically, ideally, uh, everybody should stick to, but we can very easily say that very few people stick to that. The reason behind that kind of abandoning governance principles, in my opinion, is a very capitalistic principle on which all the companies, at least in USA, are run, which means maximizing the shareholder value. If that is the principle, then whatever it takes to increase the shareholder value becomes a kind of a norm, and everything becomes acceptable to, because with this we are going to increase the shareholder value. Are we sticking to the governance norms or not? Are we doing the ethical things or not? Are we treating our employees or not? Are we treating our contractors or partners or not? Everything goes for a toss, because ultimately what trumps everything is maximizing shareholder value. Unless that doctrine changes, it's very difficult to change or bring the ethical behavior back to the governance segment. That's what I feel. The company's mission and vision should really define what good company means or good governance means. So it is the founder or individual founder or a group of founders, those who are responsible to create the company should really have that very clear vision that this is what our good governance means. We all are very familiar with what we call it as a to-do list. That means this is what we want to do. Very few times we put another list in place called not to-do list. And in my opinion, these corporate leaders, when they say that this is what we want to achieve as a good governance, they should also include another section in it that in addition to doing what we need to do, these are the things that we will not be doing. As simple as we will not be paying any bribe, will not be do any underhand dealings, we will not be working with the lobbyist by paying them to get our interests pushed forward by law or something like that. So to-do list and not to-do list, both the actions, if they put in place, then perhaps they will always see that, okay, these are the things which we want to do, but these are the things we are not supposed to do. And that will keep on giving them a reminder all the time, oh, this thing I'm doing, it is in part of my not to do list. So I should not be doing that. That is how I look at it. The governance, the good and bad governance definitions can be at a multiple levels, but simply speaking, there will be some good governance guidelines and practices or stipulations laid down by the government itself. That could be one layer. But equally important, or sometimes more important than that, the same point I'm repeating again, that the company's management should define what is good governance for them in the boundaries, in the framework of what government has asked them to do. So at that level, governance could be defined at a two layers, and it becomes the entire board's responsibility to stick to that. What happens with governance fails? We have seen, and the most today's example that I read about a company called WeWork, perhaps you know that. One of the biggest investors in the world, Masayoshi Son, from Japan, has invested thousands of billions of dollars in that company. The company completely got bankrupt or went for the toss, and Masayoshi Son publicly expressed regrets of investing in that company. And today I read the news that the person, Adam Newman, who had founded that company, he's back in the market after such a big failure. He is still able to generate $350 million for his next venture. Now, the one person who has really literally sabotaged the company and sabotaged the investors and went away with a huge amount of money is back in the market, and investors are still ready to give him money. What does it tell us? Where is the governance? Governance is just, it's a paper puppet. Nobody pays attention to that. People just do it what is beneficial to them and what they can earn out of it. So as I said, until people know that what this is not what I'm going to do, nothing will change really. Because the change has to happen from within. Outside, what can you impose? How much can you impose? There is a limit on that. First thing at all comes in picture is all these people at a corporate level. Who is going to tell them that you are not following the right governance? As we say, who is going to in our Marathi, they say that मांजराच्या गळ्यात घंटा कोणी बांधायची. Same thing, who is bell the cat? So there must be some fearless thought leader or whatever you want to call him monk, call him sage or whatever, has to come forward and tell these people that you should not be doing this, but you should be doing this. I don't know if there is any such kind of person exists in the world today who has got that courage and willingness to go to the corporate people and tell that, hey guys, behave yourself. So how to do that, I don't know how it's to be done. And that's why, again, when you are expecting somebody else is going to tell them, it's again the external input, right? Even if whatever you tell, we see the kids whose parents are extremely well behaved and very nice people, and still their kids turn out to be completely criminal background. The reason that from within that kid, no adherence to any ideology remains. That's why even if parents have externally treated them well or brought them up very well, kids still turn out to be the criminals. So again, you may find me like a broken record that I'm repeating again and again. It has to come from within. I would say, if at all you think about the previous generation, let's say my parents' generation, who if he would have been alive now, right now, he would have been somewhere around 90s. So we are talking about pretty earlier part of it when he was young. At that time, I think overall society was, especially in India, the society had some kind of people who were giving high level guidelines, and people used to be afraid of them because they were scared if this person, and you call him whatever, understands that we have done this badly, then it is not good for our overall reputation. Those kind of people were there. Those were very ethical people. They had shown by example that what should be done and what should not be done. One thing I realize is in these recent days, there are no people like that we can even keep our idols as such. Thought-wise, action-wise, there are many. Many people are doing great work in many sectors, but corporate governance-wise, thought process-wise, if there are any people in India who are doing that, I'm not aware. Something similar maybe in the previous generation. If you think about the US, you may, and I'm not expert on that, but maybe Stephen Covey has done some kind of writing which is talking about doing the right things. Maybe Wayne Dyer kind of a thought leader did something, but other than that, I'm not really much familiar with anything like that. leaders should really be thinking about themselves and questioning themselves that whatever I'm doing, which direction am I going, and am I following my own standards? It's the compass that they look at, but that compass has to be defined by them. That this is my true north. The true north on the physical device will be something different, but my true north will be completely different. Do I have my true north basically defined? In my opinion, many people don't even think about defining his own true north. And that's why they just get carried away because they never got a chance to define that. Nobody asked them that you should be doing that. Nobody told them to you should be doing that. Again, everything goes back to making more money. But making more money by what means? If it is not defined, then perhaps nothing can be done. I believe the simplest principle which is coming from Bhagavad Gita says that Uddaret Atman Atmanam. We have to take ourselves uplift. We have to uplift ourselves. Nobody is going to do that because we ourselves are our best friends and we ourselves can be our worst enemies. It is considered, or it is this kind of shlok, it's considered in a day-to-day or practical life. But if you come off thinking about the values and everything, again the same thing applies. You have to do your own uddhar. How you are going to do your own uddhar? By following some standards. And what are the standards? Who are giving those standards to you? You are giving those standards. And in that sense, you are the best friend of yourself. And if you do not do, the flip side comes true that you are the worst enemy of yourself.